And he was just like, oh, the worst feeling ever is when I wake up after a night of drinking and I just have to delete my entire text thread with the girl because I'm so embarrassed with what I was saying. It's like, I didn't even want to reread it myself because I knew how bad it was. That's when I know it's bad. When I wake up and I look at my text thread and I have to delete the whole conversation because I just to hope it didn't happen. And I was like, okay, he's on to something here. I forgot. Drunk texting can get to us big time. Drunk texting Dennis. All right, so this is the third personality type that can get you in trouble with ladies. Come pick me up. The drunk texting Dennis. Okay, so here's the word drunk. Definition: affected by alcohol to the extent of losing control of one's behavior. And you can actually see that as in a different sense in like the anger thing, right? It's like drinking's fine, cool, right? It loosens you up. But once you lose control of yourself, just like with anger, women lose respect for you. So if you ever get so emotionally angered, you lose control of yourself. You get triggered too quickly, okay? She loses respect for you. You're too emotional. Kind of the same with the drunk thing. If drinking affects, you lose control of your behavior, then you kind of lose your center. You lose your centeredness as a man. And again, women are not attracted to that. In other words, sloshed, hammered, inebriated. Okay, symptoms. When the second drink goes down, the phone comes out. Okay, here's another symptom. Texting is hardly readable. And then other symptoms, text into the early morning. So that means like if it's midnight or on and you're texting women and you're getting emotional or letting your feelings out, you're screwing yourself over. The cure for this, read about ending conversations and emotional endurance in the principles of texting. Now, this one right here, yeah, this is, and I'm glad you'll admit something like this, Grindle, because I have too. I've definitely lost too, especially when I got to this point like where I was writing books on this stuff and guys would ask me for advice on it, right? The only time I would almost ever mess up when I was texting was when I was drinking, because I would let myself slip a little bit. I'd be like, yeah, I don't need to follow this. I got this. You get that little false confidence from the alcohol, and then that's when things, go wrong. So, yeah, drunk texting can ruin an otherwise perfect game you were playing. But I remember, this brings me back to when I was gosh, what was this? It was a few years ago. I was with my buddy. I was going around with a notepad. This is before I started this business, but I was like ready. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this business. And I was going around and like talking to different guys that I knew in my head were really bad with women, and other guys in my head that I knew were pretty good with women. And I was trying to give them neutral questions and just trying to figure out where their texting was going off, where their texting was messing up. And I got this entire section of drunk texting Dennis from one of my buddies who, like, when I sat down, I had my notepad out and I was talking to him, and he was just like, he brought drunk texting out of like nowhere. And I was like, oh, that's a good point. Drunk texting needs to be its own thing. And he was just like, oh, the worst feeling ever is when I wake up after a night of drinking and I just have to delete my entire text thread with the girl because I'm so embarrassed with what I was saying. It's like, I didn't even want to reread it myself because I knew how bad it was. That's when I know it's bad. When I wake up and I look at my text thread and I have to delete the whole conversation because I just to hope it didn't happen. And I was like, okay, he's on to something here. I forgot. Drunk texting can get to us big time. So drunk texting Dennis can screw you up. Yeah, bait him on. Exactly, Gerara. I've helped him out a little bit, though. He's gotten better. I actually got him his first one-night stand ever, which was so awesome to see. He was just so happy. We were out at the bar together, and I gave him a whole game plan before, and we just kind of saw it happen. I was just watching from afar. I was just like the proud guy in the corner. Like, I didn't care anyone else. It was like coming up there, me trying to talk to me. Other buddies were trying to talk to me. I was like, shut up. I was so proud just watching my buddy who just had no success with women. He took this girl home. It was awesome. But anyway, that's the guy who gave me this inspiration for drunk texting Dennis. Drinking. Okay, actually, guys, this is good for you guys to know. especially with my personal clients that I coach, one of the things that we always wait for, right? When they start to learn how to play it really good, and I mean really good, they don't give in at all. And it's just like, hey, and I always tell them, like, just wait. When Friday or Saturday rolls around and this girl starts drinking, you're going to see her cave because she's able to keep her game up a little bit. But when guys are playing it really well, she's going to drink a little bit, and then she's going to get curious, and then she's going to get emotional, and then you're going to see she's going to slip, and then you'll get the power. And it happens almost every single time. Guys playing it really, really well. He's like, okay, all right, now what do I do? Now that I'm not going to pursue her, what am I going to do? And I'm like, just wait. Just wait. I promise you, after a weekend or two where she's drinking, she's going to become curious about why all of a sudden you're totally different than you were before, and she's going to text you. So women do fall into this too. This is a lot of times when you play it really well with the women, since women are a little bit, they're more emotional than men. If you can outplay it, this is what I love, the great equalizer of game. Women that have so much experience and they know game, they're really good. But if a guy is just as experienced, or if a guy knows just as much game with a woman, I think the guy will win every time, because our logic is able to talk us out of the emotional moves that women cannot help but fall into, like when they're drinking. So that's like the great equalizer. When you get a guy and a girl on the same exact level, you will win as the guy when you can logically talk yourself out of the emotional decisions, and she can't, especially when she starts drinking. You're going to find a lot of times that women will start to give you the power once they start drinking, and then from there, if you can take it and run with it, you'll be golden from there on out. A drunk Dennis this is a pattern to do. If you're a guy that's drunk and texted every once in a while, you made a couple mistakes, and you're like, okay, shoot, I did it, but you learn from it, okay, I won't do that again in the future, then you're fine. But the guys that have a pattern of this, like my buddy, he would say every single time when there was a girl he's interested in, it was just a matter of time. Once he got drunk, he would let it go. He would get too emotional. He would just go full on board at some point. So it was a repeated pattern for him. So remember with this, guys, practice makes permanent. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes perfect is one of the stupidest slogans that people repeat. Practice makes permanent. Because if you do anything poorly, the more you practice it, it won't magically get perfect. You'll just get better at doing something poorly. Practice makes permanent. The more things you practice, the more it will become permanent. If you practice perfect skills, then you'll become perfect in that area. But practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So whatever you're practicing is going to be more cemented in your brain and your habits and all that stuff. So remember that, man. If you're messing up on the drunk texting thing, got to change it up a little bit and practice something new and make that more of your permanent habit. So here are just 2 goals for you to do if you do find yourself getting in trouble. Goal number 1 is when you go out somewhere, try keeping your phone in your pocket the whole night. Just try making that a rule for yourself. Goal number 2, if you need more support, if you can't handle that, give your phone to a friend. Do not let them give it back to you. And guys, I'm telling you guys, I've done this before. I've done so many things over the years, guys, to figure out how to get this mindset honed down. And with goal number 1, I don't know if you guys have ever done this. This is what we do with our buddies. Now that we go on like buddy trips, where a lot of my buddies are married or engaged or all that crap, they got the girlfriends. All of that crap what's his name brought up earlier. I gotta find him. Nicholas brought up earlier about guys that just like bail on their guy friends for women, right? Well, so we do this sometimes when we all get together. If we do a trip together, we'll go out to dinner somewhere and we'll all put our phones in the very middle of the table, and the first person to check their phone has to pay the entire bill. So if we have like 12 guys out there or 14 guys out, everyone has their phone on there, and the first person to check their phone has to pay the bill for everybody. If everyone goes the whole round, then we split our bill, amongst ourselves. The other thing we do with that is that if any girl, if you get a phone call when this happens, then someone else gets to pick up your phone and put it on speaker, and they get to talk to that person for as long as that person will stay on the phone for them. So if your girlfriend or wife calls, you're not allowed to pick up your phone. Someone else does. Your buddy next to you, they'll put it on speaker and they'll say whatever they want to her, and you can't do a thing about it unless you want to take your phone and pay the bill. So those are fun ways and group activities you guys can do this with guys. But just personally, your own personal goals, these two are good ones to try. 3 signs of a drunk Dennis. Okay, here's the worst. Okay, you make excuses, and this was my buddy to a T, the one that this chapter was dedicated to, which I gave him a free copy of the book, of course. You make excuses and say, I always do it when I drink. I can't help it. That's what this guy would say. He's like, yeah, but that's just always how it happens. When I drink, that's what happens. I text the girl I like and then I blow it. That was his thing, and he was okay. He was satisfied with just being like, yeah, it's just how it always happens. It always happens. Okay, the problem with this is the worst possible attitude to have, because you're literally giving yourself an excuse to continue with this worthless behavior. This becomes a crutch for you and a self-fulfilling prophecy that continues forever, because you'll just continually do it. And I already admitted that this happens sometimes for me, although it's rare. And when I wrote this book, it still happened more. Nowadays, it's way more rare. But still, one night of drunk texting can completely ruin your chance with a woman you otherwise did everything right with. And I know that sounds crazy, guys, but that's the situation we're dealing with these days because of online dating and all that stuff. So one little mess up on the text, field here, one drunk text and all that, and you can lose the power you had with a woman to the point, because why wouldn't she just go, well, whatever, I'll just try someone else. Again, that's what we're left with in today's society. So you don't have to follow these rules, but to have any sort of success, you just got to do that. You got to internalize this. Okay, here's the second one. A second mistake for drunk texting Dennis. Do you wake up after a night of drinking with responses from a woman like, what were you trying to say? Problem: either you are a horrendous speller, or more than likely you texted some nonsense that the girl cannot read. Neither option does you any good. This is one of those ones where guys will wake up the next day and they'll look at their phone and they'll get these responses from women like, what were you trying to say? Or did you really mean that? Or did you mean what you said? And you see that and your heart sinks to your stomach. You're like, oh crap, what did I say now? Right? That is a sign of a drunk texting Dennis when that hits you. If that's your lifestyle, that's when you definitely want to try. Keep your phone in your pocket. Try and don't text her back after 9 p.m. Routine. But when you have something like this happen, and this is again word for word that came from my buddy who was like, yeah, she texted me like, what were you trying to say? And he's like, but I can't tell her what I don't remember what I said, because then I got super embarrassed and I deleted the whole conversation. Right? Those are the things he would get, these texts, when he would be so embarrassed he would delete his entire text thread with that girl, because he would wake up to stuff like this. Like, what were you trying to say? What did you mean? Did you really mean that? Never a good sign. Never a good sign. Marcus, if I don't pursue her, then how do I create a beginning of a relationship? Well, that's part of where the whole, when people say you have game, right? That's where it kind of comes in. It's being able to move it forward without pursuing. It's being able to position yourself as a strong masculine man to where the way that you just interact, the way you communicate, the girl senses that, and then she goes, God, I want to get to know this guy. That's the only way you can do it in a sane way. There are a lot of strategies on how to do this, but the beautiful thing is all the strategies are like how it feels to actually be a man. We get brainwashed how to be pussies, basically, guys. We get brainwashed how to be little emotional tampons from the movies and all that crap. To be an actual true man, it's very much natural to us. So just learning how to do that and learning that you're able to get away with it. That like a lot of times guys see my stuff, they'll see all my texts. Like in my VIP membership, you can probably see 50 different texting conversations I have with different women where I show you exactly what I said, but then I break down, why did I say this? Well, why I said it was blah, blah, blah. That builds my status. And by saying that, I don't need to pursue after her. She sees I'm a man of status. She wants to come after me. So there are a lot of like actual ways to do it to pursue her without pursuing her. But the main thing is everything you hear about what you're supposed to do in the movies is just backwards. It's just wrong. It just gives women all of the power. And then when they have all the power, they will use you. They just don't respect a man when they have all the power. But Marcus, I will try to do a better job, and I will on my videos. I always try to give as many good tips as I can to, be able to be where you can just you can just be a man and women will come after you, as opposed to stopping your purpose as a man to go after women, to pursue women. The guys that will, there'll be certain guys that will say whatever they need to say to get in a woman's pants. And I'm not going to fault any guy for whatever he wants to do, but I don't like that because that's me thinking up a bunch of crap I have to say strictly for the goal of sleeping with a woman. I much rather would learn how to just better my life, become a high status man in the way I, do things. And then I can drip those breadcrumbs out to women by the way I communicate with them to where they get that feeling and they want to pursue me rather than me having to give them some giggle gaggle crap pickup lines and stuff like that. But it's all about how you hold yourself as a man. And women, when they find that, they will not want to, I'm telling you, they will not want to leave you alone. It's always backwards. It's counterintuitive, but it's the truth. Do you immediately pull out your phone when you're at a party or at the bars with friends? Problem. Put that phone away and work on creating a fun party around you. That way you can get a woman's number and start fresh with no texting mistakes. See, here's another situation that we see. And this is why when I say, why do guys go to the clubs anymore? Because I see certain guys that will go to the clubs and they'll kind of be like, okay, this is awkward. So they pull out their phone and they start to, text on their phone. They do something on their phone. And that puts themselves in this position where they're going to make all these eager Earl, drunk texting Dennis, all these other mistakes because they got their phone out. And so they're naturally going to sit there and do that. It's much better to, when you get to a bar, you get to a social setting, forget the phone. You're with people. I think we've forgotten how to do that with people. You're with people. Enjoy the party around you as opposed to sitting on the phone texting while you're around other people in person. Because not only will that help you get over this eager Earl mentality, it will build your attraction because you won't be texting these girls and all that, but also you'll have fun in the environment you're in. So if you're that guy that every time you go to a bar or you go to a party, you find that that's your habit. You take out your phone and kind of like look at your phone. Try to keep your phone in your pocket. Try to change that habit because the more that is a habit of yours, the more you'll slip up when there's a girl that you're actually interested in. The more times you pull out your phone and if there's a girl you like, the more times you're going to be likely to go, well, I'll just send this. This seems like a good line. You just trick yourself into doing it. Guys, I've done it a million times. So if you find you do this, that's a good sign. If that's your habit of pulling out your phone, that's a good sign to be like, all right, I'm going to keep my phone in my pocket all night. And I'm just going to see what happens around me. And just slowly build that habit because, again, practice makes permanent. Practice doesn't make perfect. But if you practice the right habits, permanently you'll have the right habits. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe.